Welcome back. If it has joined us, you're watching the news at 10 live on Channels Television Lagos. A reminder of our top stories. New twist in BAYELSA political drama as Federal High Court rules that the APC has no candidate in Saturday's governorship election. Party obtains stay of execution order from Abuja court. President Buhari calls for fairness and transparency in BAYELSA and Kogi states' governorship elections. Challenges security officials to be non-partisan during the polls. Kidnapped Justice of the Appeal Court, Benin, Justice Choma Nwosuyiheme, regains freedom after spending 2 weeks with her abductors. And a ceasefire between Israel and militants in Gaza holds amid continued launch of rockets in the area. For more information on our top stories and others, please visit our website, channelstv.com. youtube.com/channelsweb has videos of our shows. With the BAYELSA elections and the Kogi state elections on Saturday, we're talking about all that in the news earlier. Let's get more perspective now on today's court judgment saying the APC has no candidate in the forthcoming governorship elections. I'll be joined at the news at 10 now from our Abuja studio by legal practitioner Mr. EKPEYONG. Mr. EKPEYONG, thank you for joining us on the news at 10.
Thank you for having me.
What struck you first when you heard of the judgment by the Federal High Court on the participation of the APC in the election?
Well, it's interesting, but at the same time, worrisome. Because the decision of the Federal High Court in BAYELSA has a lot of far-reaching implications on the elections coming up on Saturday in BAYELSA State. However, Section 287 of the Constitution makes it clear that all persons and authority must comply with the order of the court in any part of any part of Nigeria, so that judgment is binding.
Now, the plaintiff in the case, the former Minister of State for Agriculture, Mr. Heineken Lopobiri, says the judgment was not what he asked for in his suit. What do you make of this? Is he correct? Was this not what he asked?
Well, as it stands, the court has decided. The plaintiff, Senator Lopobiri, asked for a return, as that the court should declare him winner. But the court, in its wisdom, decided otherwise. And that is the decision of the court. And that judgment subsists.
How do you see this matter unfolding in the coming days? We saw the APC there in their campaign, talking to the people and making all these promises. Do you think they will still have a candidate on Saturday?
Well, interestingly, there are far-reaching implications on this, and one of the lessons to be learned in this experience is that political parties must learn to play by the rules. You set up rules and regulations for your political party, you set up guidelines, set up regulations. You are bound to play by the rules, to obey the regulations as set out in the guidelines and constitution of your party. And this takes, this brings to the fore the traditional case of Onoha against Okafor. Traditionally, the courts were insulated from looking into the activities of political parties. But in the case of Ugu against Ararume, it was judicially settled that the courts have the power to look into the activities of political parties with a view to ensuring that political parties abide by its own rules and regulations. So it is a lesson for politicians and political parties by extension to play by the rules and obey strictly and comply with its own guidelines, rules, and regulations.
So are you saying that in this, sorry to interrupt, but are you saying that in this case, that a stay of execution obtained by the APC chairman, Adams Oshiomhole, will not hold on, or should not hold on Saturday? The APC should not have a candidate participating in this election. Quickly, please.
Well, in this, I'm not really informed about which courts, because there are conflicting reports as regards if it's an Abuja Federal High Court or the Court of Appeal. Or if it is the High Court, the High Courts are of coordinate jurisdiction. And if an order for stay of execution is obtained by another High Court, it can only at best be persuasive. But if it is obtained by the Court of Appeal, then it is binding, and that subsists against the decision of the Federal High Court in Bayelsa.
Mr. Leo EKPEYONG, thank you for joining us on the News at 10. Appreciate your thoughts and your analysis on the issue. Now, a judge of the Court of Appeal, Benin Division, Justice Chioma Nwosu-Iheme, who was abducted in Benin City, the Edo State capital, about 2 weeks ago, has been rescued. The rescue of Justice Nwosu-Iheme has been confirmed by the Commissioner of Police in Edo State, Dan Malam Muhammad. Mr. Muhammad disclosed that the rescued judge has been reunited with her family. Her abduction had led to a public outcry from various quarters within the Nigerian Bar Association Benin branch, even embarking on a 3-day boycott of all courts last week. Justice Nwosu-Iheme was kidnapped by gunmen in Edo State's capital on October 30 after they killed her security aide. Away from legal issues, troops of 89 and 97 Task Force battalions of Sector 3, backed by the Air Task Force of Operation Lafia Dole, have reportedly inflicted heavy losses on the Islamic State in West Africa province, ISAWP, at Malam Fatori in the northern part of Borno State. A statement from the Nigerian Air Force says the terrorists were routed in a joint counter-offensive operation yesterday, following the intelligence reports on the movement ISAWP fighters and some gun trucks towards the troops' location. The ATF immediately scrambled to attack aircraft to provide close air support for the ground troops as they engaged the terrorists. According to the statement, the combined intensive fire targeting the terrorists from the air and on the ground forced them to retreat. However, 2 gun trucks belonging to the insurgents were destroyed in the first wave, while the attack platforms also tracked the fleeing terrorists, immobilizing 2 more gun trucks and killing some of the escaping fighters. Going to hand over now to Linda Akigbe in Abuja for more on the News at 10. Hi, Linda. Great to see you.
Hello, Amarachi. Great to see you too. Now, the co-founder of the global e-commerce giant Alibaba Group, Jack Ma, today met the Vice President, Professor Yemi Osinbajo, in Abuja to explore business opportunities in Africa's largest economy and most populous economy. Mr. Ma's visit comes about 2 months after President Muhammadu Buhari returned from the China-Africa Business Summit in Beijing, where he met with top Chinese officials and the executives of big Chinese companies. At the meeting with the head of the technology company, Vice President Osinbajo pledged the support of the Nigerian government to Chinese businesses willing to invest in the country. Jack Ma is leading a large delegation of Chinese investors to Nigeria, which is also home to other e-commercial giants like Jumia and Konga, amongst others. An Abuja High Court sitting in Buhari Area Council has dismissed the rape case instituted by Mrs. Busola Dakolo against the senior pastor of Commonwealth of Zion Assembly, Koza, Pastor Biodun Fatoyinbo. The trial judge, Justice Othman Musa, while dismissing the rape suit, awarded a cost of 1 million naira against Mrs. Dakolo to be paid to the pastor. Justice Musa, in his judgment, absolved Pastor Fatoyinbo of any liability from the alleged rape on the grounds that the case of the plaintiff is purely sentimental and empty. Busola, wife of popular musician Timi Dakolo, had accused Pastor Fatoyinbo of raping her while she was a teenager about 17 years ago. Pastor Fatoyinbo, on his part, filed an objection to the suit and supported it with an affidavit claiming that Busola's statements were false and concocted to embarrass, scandalize and ridicule him. He states that the plaintiff sought the attention of the media and instituted a civil action even while the police investigation was ongoing. Now, still on judicial matters, the Chief Justice of Singapore, Sundaresh Menon, is advocating equal access to justice in order to reduce conflict and promote alternative dispute resolution. Justice Menon, who spoke at a conference on negotiation and conflict management, says inequality is a justice problem requiring urgent attention. He explained that the fairness dimension of inequality means that inequality is not purely a socio-economic problem, but a justice problem. When News at 10 returns, Nigeria, Benin and Niger republics agreed to set up a joint patrol team for the reopening of the land borders partially closed by Nigeria. That's in business news. Plus, ceasefire between Israel and militants in Gaza holds amidst continued launch of rocket fires. And more coming from our London bureau in Around the World in 5. Join us again.